Hi, I'm Laura O'Callahan, and this is In the Garden with Laura. This season showcases some native plants that work well in the local landscape. I hope it helps you beautify your garden and support the wildlife around it. This episode features Rob Jenkins of Herring Run Nurseries, which is part of Blue Water, Baltimore. Hi, welcome to another episode of In the Garden with Laura. We're here with Rob Jenkins at the Herring Run Nursery.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about some more great perennials for your garden.
Hi, thanks for coming back. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So I have a few different plants that primarily are shade plants, but we'll talk about them a little bit. This little cluster right here are groups of Lobelia or cardinal flowers. This little cluster here would be heucheras, otherwise known as coral bells, commonly known as coral bells. On the end I have some great evergreen ferns, Christmas ferns, and there's one other plant I don't have here because it's a spring ephemeral, but we'll talk about that because it's my favorite. So,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's talk. We've already got a bee here who's enjoying.
Yeah, so the lobelia, the blue lobelia is Lobelia syphilitica, or blue cardinal flower. And this one in the front that's not really doing anything yet is, or not doing anything at this point, is red lobelia or cardinalis. And this is a cultivar of the cardinalis called black truffle. So both of these plants here are going to have red flowers, comparable in height to the syphilitica, the blue lobelia. From my experience as a grower, the red flowering lobelias tend to do a little bit better in the sun, where the blue lobelias tend to do a little bit better in the shade. A little bit of a moist area is great. They can definitely take moist conditions. It'd be good to have some humus in the soil if you can. What you'll find though, if you have these in your garden, you're going to draw a lot more bees with the blue. With these two, with the red flowers, you're going to see a lot of hummingbirds, which is fantastic. Yeah. The heucheras, they are a little misunderstood, I think. They are tolerant of many more conditions than people would expect. Usually you think coral bells, you're thinking a shade plant. Right. They can take a fair bit of sun, especially varieties like the Palace Purple here. The Americana, which is the one in the front with the green leaves, yeah, that's this one right here. Okay. May not want quite as much sun. I found that the darker leaf ones like the Palace Purples and some of the other varieties that have a little more color to them tend to hold up better. You could treat these almost like semi-evergreens. I don't cut mine back at all. I leave them up through the winter. I have foliage through the winter. I'll do a little bit of cleanup in the spring. I never cut them down to the ground. I've had one clump of heuchera in my yard that is basically just expanded in size and never had anything done to it in the last 8 or 9 years, and it looks great.
I've been looking at what would go underneath a dogwood because they have such shallow roots.
Sure.
But my dogwood is so small that it doesn't really provide any shade. So would a coral bell work well for that?
I think you could put coral bells in there, yes. I would want to make sure that you get a little bit of shade somehow, whether that means you use something else as a screening plant initially until the dogwoods have got a bit more size, or just make sure that it's in a spot where the canopy is providing some amount of shade. I wouldn't put them in full sun for sure, but definitely a little bit of shade is going to be good. If you get maybe 3/4 to 1/4, that's some of the ones in my yard.
Okay.
That's what they're getting. They're doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah. On the end here, if you ever walk around in any of the woodlands in Maryland, any of the reservoir areas, any time of year, you're going to find Christmas fern. Right. Great evergreen fern. Tends to stay fairly low, so it's going to lay flat. Easiest way to tell that you are probably looking at a Christmas fern is looking at how it's growing. And if it's growing flat, odds are, and it's got these big fronds, that's probably what you're looking at as a Christmas fern. So.
But it's always great to buy Christmas ferns from a nursery rather than taking anything out from the wild.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we definitely don't want to be digging up the wild plants. Let the folks who do the seed collecting and the spore collecting and are professional do that. If you have some in your yard that you would like to try and collect spores or collect seeds from, that's fantastic. You absolutely should. but leave the wilderness be.
Right.
We want
Right.
that to stay pristine.
Yeah. And it also, when you take out a plant, invasives come and all sorts of things. There
Exactly.
are all sorts of problems when you
Yes.
get into that.
Indeed, indeed. The one plant that I don't have out here, which is my absolute favorite plant of all, is Mertensia or Virginia bluebells. I have very fond recollections of walking along the C&O Canal towpath and the Billy Goat trails down by the Potomac, and early in the spring, and just being loads and loads of Virginia bluebells in flower. It's absolutely a fantastic plant. It's ephemeral. So once we start getting a little warmer temperatures, it's going to be done. It's going to melt away, but it's going to give you great, great color in the springtime, early in the spring, April, May. Wonderful. Yeah, so get one of those.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.